And welcome to my office.
Thanks. Nice to meet Robin.
I, as you know, have been working at an art service organization, the Playwrights Guild of Canada, for almost the last 10 years. So obviously, it's obvious where my heart's at in terms of why art service organizations and why research on art service organizations. But when we met a year ago and I pitched this idea to you, your eyes lit up, and I was wondering if you could tell me why that might be.
Sure. So I am a researcher at Ryerson University, and I'm a professor in creative industries. And sometimes creative industries have really understood that sector to be really economically driven, leading the economy. And that's great, but sometimes it's limited, that we see culture and art only as an economic resource. So I like to draw attention to what else, like what is the social impact of culture, what is the cultural impact of culture, and what are our lenses to see and support that. So as a researcher, I try to draw attention to that and make it visible. So I think this research project that we're partnering on is really great because we're trying to draw attention to the art service organization sector and all of the wonderful supporting work that they do to make culture happen in Canada. And sometimes we don't have the research lenses to see that. So let's create them together and let's document what's happening in Canada with art service organizations and the work that they're doing, which is really important work, and I think we should be talking about it more.
Yeah. Really important that we're doing this research on art service organizations, because when we first started talking about this and went back, there's so little information about art service organizations, and to me, ASOs play a major role. They are a pillar within the art sector because they have the power to work with and serve their memberships, whether they're artists or arts organizations. But then also they have close ties to funders and to government. So it's almost as they act as like a conduit. And so when we're talking about how they could support arts research, which is Mass Culture's mandate, it would be, I'm very curious to see how this research might support art service organizations towards Mass Culture's mandate. So what are the goals of the research that we're about to embark on?
Yeah, I'm really excited to start this research project because we're going to create the first map of art service organizations in Canada. I think maybe people working in the sector know about the sector, but even those working in the sector might not know how extensive the sector is at all levels, national, provincial, and local, and even grassroots, right? Really informal collectives that are working to support artists and arts organizations. So we're going to do an online survey to map and document the sector, to create an interactive visual map, which should be exciting. So we can look at the features of this sector, how big it is, where it's located, how long it's existed, how many people are employed, and have that knowledge available online. So we're going to map the sector, which will be great, and we're also going to look into the research that art service organizations are doing themselves. So a lot of these organizations are working to document their own importance and their own value and the problems and challenges that their artists are facing. So from a research perspective, I want to know more about the research that's being done by art service organizations to serve their members. And then from that, how can we better gather that research together? How can we maybe work to sharing it more effectively? How could we maybe use common indicators? How could we be pooling our resources, given that many people in this sector want the same thing? They want to support artists, they want to support art service organizations in Canada. They understand the important role that arts and culture plays in communities and in the lives of individuals. So if we have common goals and objectives and we're all working somewhat isolated towards those common goals, how can we maybe work collectively a bit better?
Yeah.
How, as a researcher, can I help facilitate some of that sharing So I'm excited to try to work towards pulling the information together as well.
Okay.
So we'll do that online, but also we'll also be doing that at a conference being held at Ryerson next May, so May 2020. Watch out for that, and we'll be coming together to share and to convene and to talk about the work in the sector, to talk about the research in the sector, and to talk about sharing the research in the sector.
We're hoping if you're watching this video that you'll also be taking the survey when it's available in September. It'll be out for 6 weeks. We'll be reminding you often when it's out, so please take it and share it with your colleagues. It'll be available in English and French. The data from the questions that will be asked in the survey will be visualized in a map. So all of the questions in the survey, that data that we're collecting will be available to you to use in your own research, in your own evaluation, in your own projects, to your own funders, to your own investors. So we're hoping to collect data that is useful, that helps document the impact of the sector, the size of the sector, and the location, the whereabouts of the sector. So please take the survey, share it with your colleagues. We'll be reminding you often during the 6 weeks that it's available to take it. So we're hoping to do something useful that works towards common goals.